It is September 19th, and this is the Duxbury Board of Health. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of Acts 2023, this meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy by remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public and board members, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless required by law. This meeting will be recorded by the local scene, formerly known as pac-tv. Members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so by viewing the Duxbury Government Access Channel, which is Verizon 39 or Comcast 9. Viewers can visit the localscene.media /Duxbury / for information about Duxbury programming, including streaming and watching replays on Duxbury YouTube. Okay. Well, our first order of business is 42 School Street.
You just have to go up to that microphone. Yeah, because that way
Open up the plan here so the
Zoom
customer
can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can
Share.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate my screen.
We appreciate it. There we go.
Oh, look at that. All right, so I am Shane McGlone, and I'm representing Charles Julius, who's the owner of this property. Mr. Julius is having problems with his existing septic system, and he wants to upgrade it. He currently has a tank and 2 leaching pits that are shown on the plan sort of to the left of the house. And oh, there you go. Thank you. I got an assistant in the, that's good. So there's a weird water table on this hill. It's really strange. We dug, and the water just goes up the hill as the hill goes up. And so those 2 pits, you know, are surely in the water table. And so this is a significant improvement where we're going to have these leaching chambers sort of tucked into the hill. So you see all the contours here. You can see it's just a really big hill going up, up, up. So we're getting at the base of that hill, and we're putting in these 11 by 47 leaching chambers and sort of engaging the back of the hill so it's half of a mound where the other half of it is concealed by the hill, essentially. It's a pump system, so we've got a proposed 1,500-gallon pump chamber behind the conventional 1,500-gallon tank that pumps up to that leaching chamber. We make our 150-foot setback to the wetlands, satisfying Duxbury's supplemental regulations in that respect. And that brings us to why we're here now, because he has a well in the house that he's had since he's been there, and he really wants to keep it. And he will explain his reasoning to you when you ask him, but he makes a fairly convincing argument that we've had the well tested and the water is clean, and he feels it's cleaner than the town water and shouldn't be made to hook into the town water. So here we are. We're looking for a variance to reduce the separation from the leaching chambers to the potable well from 150 feet to 74 feet. And that 74 feet represents, you know, as you know, Title V is 100-foot setback. So really we're asking for a variance, local upgrade variance, to go from 100 down to 74, which is provided for in 405, 15405.
Can you point out the existing system?
Sure. Right, so here's the tank. Right?
Oh, okay.
Those are the 2 leaching pits.
Oh, okay.
So right now the leaching pit is, you know, closer to the leaching, so we're getting further away, and we're taking it out of the water table and getting our 6-foot separation required.
And the flow of groundwater is in which direction? Do you have a rough idea?
Usually it's sort of from the higher to the lower, so.
Okay, but you said that the water table was a little unusual
Yeah,
here?
on that hill, and that's, so you would think it goes up downhill, because as I
Right.
go up the hill, it's keeping counting it.
Okay.
and it's not going up the hill, so it must
Right.
be coming down. There could be some lateral movement, but for the most part, that's going to be the direction we're talking about.
Okay, so you're saying water is essentially flowing, let's call it almost due east here, which would make sense for this location.
You know, it's a pretty dynamic environment under there. You know, the direction of the subterranean water flow is difficult to predict sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why, I mean, clearly he had the system closer to his existing well.
And it's still testing
Yeah.
clean.
You said that the homeowner's on, I was hoping he could tell us a little bit about his well. Sorry, I'm going on.
So that would be Charles Julius's cue to start talking as soon
Tried to promote, here he
as,
comes.
Lauren gets him over there.
All right, that should be better.
There we go.
And let's do that. Hello. I can answer any question you need to know about the system. In the water situation, what would you like to know?
How old is your well?
It was in the house when I bought the house in 1996. I believe it's been there since its building, which I believe was in 1976 or 78. I can't remember the gentleman's name. He was a Duxbury High School wood teacher that built the house, Ken Sachs. And that well's been there since that house was built. It's actually in the basement, at ground level in the basement. It's 8 feet below the grade on that end of the house.
Okay.
Is the house also connected to town water?
It is not. The house has never been connected to town water.
Is town water available on that street?
It is available on the street.
It is.
It is. The neighbor's house is connected to town water.
So why not connect it?
Well, why connected is my question. My water quality is a 38-page report that's available to you there. I think Shane's got that. If not, I can bring it up. My water quality in every aspect, save one, is better than town water. I've been in the house for almost 30 years now. Never had a water quality issue. I've had the water tested before. The only issue with the water is because it's a pine forest around it, there's some acidity to the water. It's 5.6 pH water. But I run a purification system within my house that neutralizes the pH, runs through a ultraviolet bacterial kill system, and also a RO unit for drinking water. So anything that would get into it would be knocked off anyway. I don't want to incur the cost of digging about a 400-foot trench to connect it to the town, pay the town fees for that, and then have a town water bill when I have perfectly good well water for 30 years sitting there with no reason not to use it. It's, you know, the Title V requirement I met in 1996. I'm improving my system voluntarily right now. My system isn't failing, it's just old. And I thought, well, let's improve it. And I ran into this issue I didn't expect to have. So the argument for me not to hook up to town water is my water's been fine for 30 years. My current system is not up to the standards of the system that I want to put in. I'm going to move the soil absorption system away from my existing well by another 20 feet or so. And it just improved the condition overall of the system. I don't see a compelling reason to go on to town water, incur the cost of that, and add another monthly bill to my program. It would add, if you look at the numbers, it would add $10,000 in initial cost just to get the water to the house, just to connect to the town, because those fees are, what, $7,500. It's $2,500 to trench and lay a 2-inch pipe. I have to deal with underground electricity, gas, neighbors, easements, and then I have to plumb it inside the house, and then I have to abandon a well that I don't want to abandon. It's perfectly good. The house also does have a sprinkler system that I plan on using after I re-landscape after this. And I know the town is trying to get people off of town water who have sprinkler systems in their home. So for all of those reasons, I don't see a compelling reason to go on to town. It certainly isn't a health issue.
How often do you test your water?
I tested it right when we bought the house. I tested it 5 years after that, and then actually I hadn't tested it for a while to this extent until this came up. But I have an annual service on my water that looks at the general condition of it because the Connecticut system that I have in my house has service done on it.
Melissa,
So,
is that adequate?
Well, I wanted to ask you a little more about what the system you have in your house for water treatment.
Yeah.
You said it's an RO
Sure.
system and a UV system?
It comes up from my well, which is internal to the house. It goes through a sand filter.
Oh,
Then it goes through a calcium bed, and then it goes through twin resin towers that are HOH resin on a back and forth, program that's water driven, usage driven.
okay.
From that, the water is softened with a standard, salt tank, iron salt. When it comes up through the system and it branches, it goes through a RO unit that's a 2-foot long UV tube for whole house water. Every drop of water goes through the UV unit. Then it comes off and it branches off. And my drinking water that I use up in my kitchen, I have a purification system to a RO unit. It also has wire wound filters in it. And then I have a tap off that goes off to refrigeration units that can't use RO water. So that's the basic system in the house.
That's a pretty complex system, actually.
Yeah, I'm a water guy,
Yeah.
I did it for the Navy, I did it for a nuclear power plant. It's something I like.
So, and you have that serviced on a regular basis because that's significant treatment.
Annually.
Sorry,
It's-
annually.
it's-
Okay.
Annually, that is correct.
Okay. All right. And so clearly, yeah, because my concern was the pH, but clearly if you're running
Yeah.
it through a calcite filter, you're doing
And then
okay.
HOH resin, so it already comes
Yep.
out neutral. It's between 6.5 and 7.2 when you test it.
Okay. Yeah, and the alkalinity was really low, but again, it sounds like you're addressing that as well. So, yeah.
It's a pretty balanced system when
Okay.
it comes out to tap.
He's good.
Okay.
You have a regular water treatment plan in there.
Well, I've got 40 years of this in my background, so.
Okay, I could tell, yeah.
Wonderful.
All right.
Have you tested for past PSAFs?
I did. It's in the 38-page report. It's not required to be tested, but I tested it anyway. There was one that came up, I think, at 6 micrograms per milliliter, and it was below the state required level and well below the Duxbury level, and below even what is in, I've got the well water reports, and it's better than what Duxbury has in their wells. And there was only one that even showed up as detectable, and the number was, I think, 6 micrograms per milliliter. And I know the town uses a different standard, but the conversion is 1,000. So it's actually a small number.
Betsy, do you have anything to say about this?
Me?
Yeah, Betsy Shin.
Mrs. Chen.
I have not seen the report, but I have to rely on Melissa, since she's probably got more expertise in water than I do on that piece.
No, his results are very low, and it's 0.9 nanograms per liter at most. The RO filters and everything else, he's got it covered, yeah.
Nick, any questions from you?
No, I was looking this over earlier. Everything looked right from an engineering standpoint.
And Mike, how about you? Any questions?
Yeah, all looks good to me. Appreciate the explanation from the homeowner, and yeah, glad to hear he's got everything in line there.
Are you ready to vote? Okay. I make a motion to grant a Title V local upgrade approval to 310 CMR 15.4051G to allow the construction of a soil absorption system 74 feet versus the required 150 feet from their own existing potable well.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, great. Motion carries. Our findings. This is an existing 5-bedroom dwelling with no proposed increase in flow. The existing septic system consisting of a 1,000-gallon tank, D-box, and 2 leaching pits is 55 feet from the potable well. Proposed SAS will improve the setback distance from the potable well to 74 feet. The existing septic system is the original to the property, installed in 1976, and the property is not located in a Zone 2 wellhead protection area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
Sorry I was late.
All right. Our next item on the agenda is a continued discussion with the Duxbury Safe Water Committee regarding concerns to the town's public water supply.
Thank you. I don't have a lot to offer tonight. The environmental partners did a presentation before the select board approximately 2 weeks ago. They gave an update, and they are still waiting for reports from Weston and Sampson. They were able to update a lot of their information with the new testing that had come through previously and adjust things. I think they're coming back as soon as the Weston and Sampson information comes through. I asked them about the accuracy or the sensitivity of the testing that they can do. My experience with PCE testing of the water pipes for over 30 years was that the testing sensitivity was plus or minus 20% accurate. Environmental partners seem to think that the sensitivity of their test for PFAS was acceptable, even though the rate now is down to 4 parts per trillion. And I have to rely on what they're telling us today, because certainly many years have passed since the previous PCE testing was available. And the Partridge well, I believe, is going forward, and they're using ARPA funds, and they need to make sure that they don't have anything else besides PFAS that they need to filter out of that well, because it would make a difference on what type of filters they needed. And that's about the extent of what I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the update. Any questions? All right. Here we go to health agent update.
All right, I'll start with the stats from Kathy Carney. These are from a period of August 15th through September 18th. For COVID-19, under age 5, 2 cases. From age 5 to 18, 5 cases. And then over 18, 19 cases. For Lyme, there are 5 probable and 2 suspect. For babesiosis, 1. Anaplasmosis, 1. Influenza A, 2. Salmonellosis, 1. Hepatitis C, 1. And Group A strep, non-HAI, 1. And then just some updates here. I know at our last meeting, we were talking about lawn seed. And I know Mike was asking about if they make some that helps with using less water, and if any of the surrounding towns had anything regarding that. I didn't get a chance to speak with them, but I did a little bit of research. And it seems like most of the towns that have implemented these types of things, more so maybe nitrogen reducing, are on the Cape. Falmouth, Barnstable, we know Nantucket. So, but they do make deep-rooted and slow-growing mixtures or waterless grass seed mixes, eco-friendly, that use 80% less water with no chemical fertilizer. So they're out there. Those are options for that. I also wanted to mention that we will have our annual flu clinic at Town Hall on October 7th from 9 to 11. And then there'll be another clinic later on in October that the grant committee will be hosting. It'll be at Plymouth Town Hall, but both of those we'll post on the Board of Health website and send out the alert. And then moving on to mosquitoes, we are still low risk for Triple E in Duxbury and moderate for West Nile virus. We haven't had any other instances where there's positive samples, thankfully. So I think as the weather gets cooler, and plus the aerial spraying that they did in the towns that were high risk seemed to be subsiding things. So we just have to get to that first deep freeze, and hopefully we'll be in the clear. Tobacco compliance checks will be happening again in the next few months. We have 2 vendors who have already been fined second offense. So their next offense, if they do violate, is $5,000. And that is state mandated. We can't do anything about that. And then there are 2 that have had first offense. I'm sorry, 3 that had first offenses, which is the $1,000. And then there are 2 that have not had any violations, Red's Emporium and Noria. So overall, since December of last year, we've collected $10,000 in fines. So I'm going to work with some of the stores that have violations to see if we can offer resources and training employees, because that's what it comes down to. Everyone should be checking IDs regardless of how old they look. We're working on all of our renewals, obviously, will be December 31st, everything expires, so food permits, septic haulers, installers, liquor license, everything. So we're trying to get ahead of that and get those renewals out. COVID test kits, we finally have some coming in. I know with the spike in cases in the last month or so, people were looking for them, so we were able to secure some from an emergency preparedness coalition website. So we got set up, and those should be coming in the next week or 2. I want to let everyone know that the D-Bar MRC training, there's one coming up next Thursday, September 26th, on adult mental health first aid. That's at 6 p.m. at the Senior Center on 10 Mayflower Street. It's also Septic Smart Week, so I posted the flyer on our website and sent out the alert. And then I sort of just ran a report of inspections that have been done since June to as of today. We've had 4 complaints, 2 housing inspections, 52 septic inspections, 13 restaurant inspections, 22 perks, 4 camps, 8 pools, and then, of course, the beaches that were 12 weeks. We came out really well with that. We only had to resample 1 beach the entire 12 weeks and didn't have to have any closures. So we lucked out, because I know everyone surrounding us said, I know where I live in Kingston, they were closed every week, it seemed like. So, and that's all I have.
I hope you had some help with all of that. Is it just
That's a
a
lot.
one-man show, right?
It's okay.
No, thank you. That was a very good
Oh,
report.
thank you.
Any questions for Lauren?
No?
I like the flyer.
Yeah, I love it.
Great.
Thank you.
The colors get the
the
colors got my
EPA.
attention, then I'm like, oh,
Okay.
septic.
Borrowed that,
Great.
but then I just added
No, that's
some
great.
information on the back that pertains more so to Duxbury.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. Thank you. All right. I
Oh,
guess-
sorry, we have minutes.
I was going to number 4, minutes.
So would you like me to just read off the dates, or do you want to go one by one?
So the last time we read off the dates, and I felt that I was comfortable with that. Is everyone comfortable with
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
that?
You pass
Sounds
them.
easier. All right, so we have May 20th, 2021, June 17th, 2021, August 19th, 2021, September 19th, 2021, October 21st, 2021, November 17th, 2021, and December 15th, 2021.
Approve.
All right.
All right. All right, great. Well, this was a very efficient meeting. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate Melissa and Nick in person. Nice to see you. I've seen Melissa, but I haven't seen you, Nick, in a long time.
Sorry I
so-
was late again.
It's okay. And I'm glad we still had the virtual option for the rest of our group. So I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll see you on October 17th, everybody. Take care, and thank you for your time and attention.
Thanks.